Hi guys, it's day 132 and we are working on math. Now, today's PDN is centered around the facts that we've learned so far about geometry. Number one is asking us which of the following letters have right angles. And then we're going to go on to number two, and it's asking us to fill in the table. I'm going to have you guys pause right here, and then we're going to review the PDN in a moment. Are you done with your PDN? Because I'm done with mine. Question number one, which of the following letters have right angles? So I went ahead and I put my answers in, and the letters that I saw that had right angles were the letter B. Here is a right angle. E, here is a right angle. Here is a right angle. And T is a right angle on this side and a right angle on the opposing side. So the letters that have right angles are B, E, and T. Number two wants us to fill in the table. Like I said before, I went ahead and I filled in the answers for you. So if they want you to draw a line segment, ME, it would look like this. M would be the end point and E would be the opposite end point. The way that we would write that out would look exactly like this. We would write the capital M, capital E next to each other with a line over the top. Or in this case, we can switch up the letters and write capital E, capital M, and write a line over the top. Next we have ray WX. Now, the thing with ray WX is that our endpoint is W because we usually start with W, and our arrow that goes on forever is X. So let me go in and change this up a little bit because it can only say ray WX because W is our starting point. W is our ending point, and X is the point that goes on forever. So I changed it up because I made a mistake. All right, let's keep it moving. Today our aim is that Kipsters will be able to distinguish between parallel and perpendicular lines. Now, I have a little chart below that I want you guys to look at. Right now, you can press pause, take a moment, read through the chart, and I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. I learned a lot of new things by looking at this chart. I learned that intersecting lines are lines in a plane that cross at exactly one point. I also found out that parallel lines are lines in a plane that are always the same distance apart. They never intersect. That means they never touch. And lastly, I learned that perpendicular lines are lines on a plane that intersect to form four right angles. That's pretty particular. Four right angles. If we take a look right here on the chart, we can see that they have the square measure going all the way around. Moving right along. When we are talking about parallel lines, they are a set of lines that never touch. They are always the same distance apart. So again, they are lines that never touch, and they are always the same distance apart. All right, so done editing that, save it. Okay, now let's keep it moving. Perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are a set of lines that intersect to make four right angles. So those are four 90-degree angles. Save. All right, and it looks just like this. Intersecting lines. Intersecting lines are a set of lines that intersect at a point, but they do not have to make 4 square angles. They can cross each other at any time. To intersect means to cross. Let's get started with example number 1. Identify the set of lines below as parallel, perpendicular, and or intersecting using symbols. Now, our first example uses lines AB and lines DC. These lines are actually lines, so they will go on forever. Eventually, they will be intersecting lines because they will meet each other at some point. The next example is line FG along with line HI. These lines are considered parallel because they don't touch each other and they have a particular distance in between each other. And the last example is perpendicular because the lines will go on forever in each direction and will form square angles all the way around. That's what makes them perpendicular. Our next section is the independent practice. Today's lesson was pretty short. Make sure that you're showing grit and working hard by going back to review the examples, to review this video, so you can know exactly what a parallel line is, a perpendicular line is, and what intersecting lines are. I do want to point out that the directions for our independent practice says that you're going to identify the lines below as parallel, perpendicular, or intersecting. I definitely believe that you can do it. Make sure you write the names on the lines. And for question number 5, you're going to see which set of lines are perpendicular. Now, if you have to, you can scroll all the way back to the lesson and get the information that you need to answer the questions on independent practice. Make sure you go to today's lesson, which is lesson day 132, and finish the exit ticket. Thank you. Have a great day.